certain fringe, obviously, the Cortezes out there are in that radical environment where they do want to tear it all down to bring up their left wing military dictatorship the way a lot of these countries around the globe have gone.
Well,
that's ultimately where a destroyed democracy ends up, and it does often start with a fiscal crisis.
Yeah.
But the real answer here is to let the states start running the show, because the federal government is subject to the state's direction, and one of the tools that you and I can do. There's a new calculator out called the America Out of Balance, and you and I can go to that and put together variables of how we would want to see the budget go. Not only are there economic indicators, projecting growth patterns and that type of thing, but you can go into Social Security and flag a half a dozen different things that you might want to see that adjusted to.
It's pie in the
that
sky.
don't affect the current the current retirees or those approaching those years.
Yeah. So America Out of Balance. Would we just Google that up, Tom?
You can save that. It's called America
Out of Balance.
Out of Balance. And you can save your version of that and put a label on it, like the one that takes care of mandates.
Yeah.
And then everybody else can put together their versions, and we can see really what these suggestions might do to get us into some real action.
All right. Okay.
Congress just wants to mystify the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there are ways to get it where we can have a reasonable conversation.
Yeah. Well, excellent point, Tom. Make sure you call again, and I'm going to look that up myself and take a look at it, and we'll discuss it on another show.
Thanks, Tom.
All righty.
Thanks, Tom.
You.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. Okay, so, just crazy. Before we get any farther into the weeds here, let's take care of a little business.
Well, speaking of money and finances.
Money, finance, tax time is coming. And Lepper & Company, LLC, is accounting, tax, and business consulting. Let them do your accounting. LepperAccounting.com, Lepper accounting.com, or you can call them 810-355-1552. That's 810-355-1552. Don't do your taxes yourself. That's looking for trouble. Pay a professional and let them do it. Do not, this is like tree trimming, right? Don't do it. Have somebody else do it. Stay out of trouble with the IRS. I think if you do your own taxes, you're like 60% more eligible to be audited. Yeah, it's a flag. So call Lepper Accounting, 810-355-1552.
They're good, ethical people. They have offices in Pinckney and Ann Arbor.
Yeah. Well, check them out. It's tax time. Don't wait until the last minute. Let's take a call from Jimmy in Manchester. Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going today?
Good.
Good. What I wanted to bring up was the Emergency Powers Act, under which Trump is declaring this national emergency. I find it interesting that Barack Obama declared 7 national emergencies, and not a single one of them were in this country. They were in the Ukraine and Venezuela and Burundi, wherever that is, Syria. And Trump has actually declared a national emergency in the United States, which I find interesting. But the Democrats are going crazy. Some of the Republicans are going crazy about how he's using this. How about we get rid of this law in the first place? I don't think the president should have this kind of power.
That's a good question and a good point, Jimmy. At this point, as of yesterday, if this is what it takes to get me a wall, then I'm gonna side with Trump on this one and say, let him use it until someone decides to take it away. Maybe this will be the impetus to take it away. But at this point, give me my wall. That's what we voted for.
You look at what Barack Obama did with DACA. I mean, he didn't even use emergency measures. He just said, no, I'm not going to enforce that law. And Congress didn't go after him.
Yeah.
Right.
That's Congress. Congress has not been doing their job for decades. Do your job, Congress, and you won't have these issues. That's simple.
Yeah.
Come across with border protection, come across with a new immigration system, come up with a new tax system, put all these things together, do your job, and we won't have to be blaming our presidents.
Well, at least what I'm saying is at least Trump is using a law to do this.
Yeah.
It's founded under law that, it shows the intent of Congress, which is supposed to be the will of the people.
Yeah. What else you got, Jimmy?
Well, I mean, it's great to have this conversation about eliminating this law because it's crazy. But you know as well as I do that nobody's going to do that because they like it as long as Trump doesn't have that power.
Well, exactly.
Of course, yeah.
Exactly.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, because, and here's, the Democrats are probably silently clapping in the background. They may complain about Trump, but Nancy Pelosi has already said, Derek, you got this track 3 ready? Listen to this, Jimmy, because this is what Nancy's already working in the background. And this is why maybe they won't go after Trump and try and stop him. Go ahead and play that.
Because if the president can declare an emergency on something that he has created as an emergency, an illusion that he wants to convey, just think of what a president with different values can present to the American people. You want to talk about a national emergency? Let's talk about today, the 1-year anniversary of another manifestation of the epidemic of gun violence in America. That's a national emergency. Why don't you declare that emergency, Mr. President? I wish you would. But a Democratic president can do that. Democratic president can declare emergencies as well. So the precedent that the president is setting here is something that should be met with great unease and dismay by the Republicans. And, of course, we will respond accordingly.
So she's talking about using a national emergency to violate the Constitution, whereas he's trying to protect us.
Yeah. That's the difference.
Yeah.
But
by the way,
my words.
Oh, yeah, and she's made my point brilliantly. You know, these people are absolute totalitarian fascists. They're nuts.
And unfortunately, this is all going to be spun in such a way by the media to mask the Green New Deal. You know, that's the thing that was really making the Democrats look horrible. This emergency act is going to be used to cover that up, to make it go away.
Yeah. What else you got, Jimmy?
No, that's about it. I've just, I've said that for years. I've railed against this law forever. I don't like the Emergency Powers Act. I don't like the Cognitive Government Act. There's a lot of things I don't like.
Right.
It's very dangerous when you get somebody in there that's a stark raving lunatic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with it. All right. Thanks for the call, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too. Let's take a call from Joe in Wyandotte. Hey, Joe. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I mainly called to go where Tom was, but I got to say, the Emergency Power Act does not allow for the suspension of the Bill of Rights. Period. End of discussion. No story. You cannot suspend the Second Amendment. Trump is not doing anywhere near that. A Democrat will not be allowed to get away with anywhere near what Nancy's talking about. But you, Ed, were talking about Cloward and Piven with Tom.
I was?
Oh, because you were talking about overwhelming the system, right?
No, I was just the discussion, not the system, just the media discussion. It's going to mask what the Dems were doing, what the Ocasio was doing with the Green New Deal.
Yeah, but the left in general does have that plan, the Cloward and Piven plan to overwhelm the system and bankrupt the nation.
Yes, you're right.
But when the Soviets went bankrupt, they didn't go further left. They instituted some quasi-capitalist reforms, not fully, of course, because they knew their system needed reform. And if the left in this country, those of us with all the guns, think that we're going to allow them to institute a socialist government if this nation goes bankrupt, rather than go back to our founding, they're out of their minds.
Yeah, agreed.
Who owns the guns?
Agreed. Yeah, the people with common sense.
Mm-hmm.
People with common sense. And this shooting in Aurora, Illinois, is just one more. You know, when Nancy comes out and says, this is the national disaster, this is the national emergency. No, Nancy, if 5 people died in a shooting because of a workplace problem in Aurora yesterday, how about the 20 that died in Chicago?
Yeah.
Every weekend.
Well, like I was telling Dick Kupke just a few minutes ago, why aren't the unions demanding in their negotiations that employees can carry concealed carry on the shop floor to defend themselves from crap like this?
Because they're not interested in the safety of their workers.
Well, hey,
they're
there you
only
go.
interested in the political agenda of the union bosses, of course.
Oh, are they school board members?
All right, great call, Joe. Anything else?
All right. Take care, my friend.
All right,
See
take
you,
care.
Joe.
Love you. Bye. Let's take a call from Gary in Hazel Park. Before we get to that, though, I've got Gary on the line. And Gary, listen to this because I want your comments on it when I bring you online. Track 4. This is the difference between Donald Trump and a guy like Beto O'Rourke. And if you have not seen a video of Beto O'Rourke speaking, you need to do yourself a favor and watch this guy. There is something wrong with this guy. Yes. And anyone that would vote for him and put him into an office or a position of authority, there's something wrong with you, because there is something deeply disturbing about Robert O'Rourke, Beto O'Rourke, whatever you want to call him. There's something wrong with this guy. Listen to track 4, Derek. This is Beto talking about why he doesn't like walls.
Beto O'Rourke held a rally of his own. O'Rourke slammed the president's proposed border wall and challenged the president's statements that immigrants are committing crimes. He also proposed several changes to U.S. immigration policy. Here's some of what you might have missed.
Here, a city that has been one of the safest in the United States of America for 20 years and counting, safe long before a wall was built here in 2008. In fact, a little less safe after that wall was built. We can show the rest of the country as we make our stand here together tonight that walls do not make us safer. We know that walls do not save lives. Walls end lives. We stand for America, and we stand against walls.
Well, you know, it wasn't
Immigrants commit crimes, including violent crimes,
Good
at
enough.
a low.
Good. You know, and I think in 1998, Beto O'Rourke was involved in a DUI. It may have been a wall that saved some lives then, keeping him from crashing. He already hit some other cars, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe that's why he doesn't like walls. Maybe he hit that wall.
Yeah, well, he hit a wall
Drunk
of sanity
driving.
a long
Yeah.
time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
You literally have to go see that video. Just Google up Beto O'Rourke and watch him. And he's talking on a stage with all the musicians' instruments behind him because he's a musician, right? So he's a musician who's thinking that, you know, hey, I'm going to parlay my notoriety. Not that he was a great musician, but he likes to play it up like Bill Clinton used to play the saxophone. Right?
Oh, you reminded me of you, too, and what's his face? Hey, call me Edge. Call me, you know.
Bono?
Yeah, Bono. Oh, call me.
This is the Edge.
Yeah. And then, you know, so he's sitting with his bandmates. Hey, call me Beto. Why? Your name is Robert. Just do it, huh? You know?
Yeah, something seriously wrong.
But he's Google-eyed, too. You notice that? He's got the Manson Ocasio Google eyes.
Yeah. What? You know what? It's kind of odd that you say that. A lot of
No, it
those.
isn't. It's-
Nancy,
Yeah.
Ocasio-Cortez, Beto,
Yeah.
Bernie, to a point, yeah.
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 Oh, man.
Maybe there's something in the water. I don't know. Let's take a call from Gary in Hazel Park who wants to talk about the Mexico border wall. Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, gentlemen. You know, one of the reasons, I think one of the main reasons is the hoi polloi up in Washington cannot admit that there's a crisis or emergency or any kind of problem at the border is because their negligence is what's caused it. So the minute they say it's there, then they have to admit that they're the ones that facilitated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as for Beto O'Rourke, what's he talking about? Since when does a wall have so much authority that it kills people? It's a wall. It just sits there.
Yeah.
It's what they say about guns, too, right? They want
Yeah.
to blame the gun for the death. A gun doesn't pull its own trigger.
Yeah.
It's a gun.
Good point.
And frankly, more people die from hammers and baseball bats and other things than they do from any kind of a gun.
Auto accidents.
Yeah.
Fentanyl.
Over in London now, they're having so many knife attacks
Mm-hmm.
that they're starting to make laws against knives in London now because it's, you know, they're killing them a different way, you know. And I think we should put walls everywhere we can on that border. I know there's places where there shouldn't be because of the rivers there or whatever, but walls for days, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Hey, how much money was thrown away on Gavin Newsom's high-speed bullet train in California?
$5 billion.
Oh, geez. Could have built a wall.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And I think the state of California owes the federal government,
Yeah, they do.
$3+ billion back.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else, Gary?
But Gavin told Donald Trump to shove it. So.
Yeah, exactly right. So, well, let's see what California is going to be begging for money soon. All right, Gary, anything else?
You guys take it easy.
All right.
Oh, I took that wrong. That was Jerry Brown's wall. Jerry Brown's train, not Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom killed the train.
Moonbeam's train?
Yeah, a moonbeam, yeah.
Okay,
Moonbeam.
so I wanted to take a few minutes. This is kind of a long track, but I think it's important because I want people to understand that